Hi, this is Saiyam Pathak, and we are back with our yearly video prediction series. And today we have with us once again Saiyam Pathak, Head of Developer Relations at vCluster. Saiyam, it's great to have you back on the show.
Thank you so much for having me, Swapnil. It's always a pleasure talking with you.
It's my pleasure as well. Of course, I'm going to ask you to grab your crystal. Of course, It's my pleasure as well. Of course, I'm going to ask you to grab your crystal ball and share your predictions with us. But before that, please remind our viewers what is vCluster all about and what are some of the core problems you folks are going to solve as we head into 2026.
So I'm Saiyam and I'm head of developer relations at vCluster. vCluster is the company that solves multi-tenancy challenges in Kubernetes. So take any from the multi-tenancy spectrum. What do I mean by that is from soft multi-tenancy to hard multi-tenancy, from creating virtual clusters on top of Kubernetes to hosted control planes to running it locally. We are already there. So last year was all about that. This year, we are focusing more on making it the go-to for any of the AI factories that you are building out there. So anyone out there building their AI factories, building the neo clouds, can easily use virtual clusters because of all the stuff that we have done in the past. And we are just gluing all the things together so that it becomes a standardized way of running Kubernetes from grounds up till production in a multi-tenant way. So that's what we are heading towards in 2026. And a couple of things that I would like to talk about maybe now or maybe later on is two important stuff for the community that we are doing. One is Wind and one is the vCluster free tier.
Now it's time for you to grab your crystal ball and share your predictions with us.
So it's 2026 and we are in the AI era already. So with Kubernetes as well, Kubernetes in 2026 will become the platform for AI platforms to run real production workloads, at massive scales. So in recent one of the surveys report shows that 66% of the organizations are already using Kubernetes to host the Gen AI workloads. But now if you see within Kubernetes, if you see Kubernetes version 1.34, 1.35, we are seeing the maturity of the product itself going to newer concepts. So the latest Kubernetes alpha feature introduces the concept of workload. So prior to this, if you have to do, batch workloads, the regular Kubernetes scheduler just schedule pod one after the other. But with the workload, you can specify, that these pods or these particular things constitute my workload, and that what should be scheduled together, or it should not be scheduled at all if there is no capacity. So things like this are getting in. DRA is getting very mature, which is very powerful, dynamic resource allocation. CDI is something that NVIDIA is working on. NVIDIA Toolkit Operator is getting more and more mature for making sure that NVIDIA infrastructure works out of the box using the Kubernetes device plugins for your AI workloads, for the pod to make it discoverable that a GPU is there for the pod to be used. So I think the first is obviously that Kubernetes is definitely becoming the AI platform. The second one, I would say, the Gen AI story, I think it's more moving towards the inferencing side of things. So more and more people are not training the model. That's what I see. Like the organizations, they aren't training the model much. In fact, roughly around 50% of them, they are not training models at all. The whole goal and the wins will be competitive advantage as well. Not who trained the best model, but who deploy and run inference reliably at scale. So that's where I think the whole game will move to in 2026. Another one is that platform engineering becomes the real game. So it's again from some of the reports. The whole bottleneck is cultural change, but now since over the years people have adopted that yes, they do need the platforms. They do need these platforms for their internal developer teams or internal teams to have a streamlined process of security, standardization, and all the other things. So I think the path from code to production is something that everyone will be working on, and from scratch itself, like from the beginning itself, they'll be thinking about all the three phases of security, AI, and observability. Like, all the three things will be there because earlier people were not thinking or making the platforms ready for the AI workloads. But now, if somebody is building the AI platform, they're also thinking that yes, teams in future will be using these for AI workloads. So platform engineering is becoming mainstream again for the AI workloads. And the last one I would say is, GitOps becoming more and more mature in 2026 with more and more enhancements, like even from the explorer phase to the innovators in the end, which are doing is all of them using GitOps at scale. And whether you talk about, like, you might have heard of the terms like MLOps is already common, but LLM ops. So people are getting these terms in. And now, if you see at the cloud native AI landscape, the CN AI landscape, you will see a lot of tooling. Specifically in the observability ecosystem and the inferencing ecosystem, things are rising very, very fast. So a couple of tools like LLMD, VLM, they are very, very powerful when it comes to inferencing. So you can today use LLMD in production that can orchestrate your AI inferencing workload at scale. All the KV caching thing. It's also based on VLM, so you get all the benefits of that. So yeah, I think these four are really, really going to make a big difference. And like I said in the original statement, that you will see a lot of AI factories. And those AI factories, I mean, small scale, medium scale, large scale, all, because even a smaller industry is going for, buying some A100s, H100s or Blackwell hardware and building their own mini data centers to keep their data private and secure and building out those clusters. And that's where I think vCluster is also headed to, in enabling those all the AI factories in running the Kubernetes with ease.
What are some of the biggest challenges or bottlenecks you feel organization will face this year?
So I think the hardware is challenging in terms of adaptability when it comes to the Kubernetes ecosystem. So everyone agrees when an OpenAI said in, back in 2018, 2017 timeframe, that they are using Kubernetes for training their GPT model. So everyone knows that yes, it is capable enough for all the AI kind of workloads. So you have projects like Kser, Kubeflow. They are mature enough to run end-to-end pipelines. You have Argo workflows for your workflows. So already projects are there, already things are working, DRA is in progress. But the thing is that people are not able to set up those Kubernetes clusters, because that becomes a challenge due to the hardware limitations, the hardware recognition. So there, a lot of work is being done by NVIDIA, a lot of work is being done in order to eliminate that factor and making sure that it just works, that kind of feeling that it just works. And second thing is production grade deployments are not happening yet. So in 2025, we have seen many POCs happening. In 2026, we'll see some of the POCs failing and other ones going to mainstream in production. So the biggest challenge is again how we can run AI for teams, AI for enterprises at scale, maximize the GPU utilization, because fundamentally how GPU works is like whenever you run a particular workload, it opens up a context, the CUDA context, and then there is a kernel. So that kernel is different from the Linux kernel, and every kernel runs to completion. That's why the whole GPU VRAM is logged in for a particular kernel that is run by a particular context of a particular process. Due to that, the GPU sharing techniques becomes difficult. But now there are many GPU sharing techniques, like you have time sharing, you have MPS, you have MIGs, you have vGPU, which is kind of a paid thing by NVIDIA, but they're still cool. So you will see people using these techniques to maximize the utilization of the GPUs, and then products like vCluster to maximize the utilization of the whole infrastructure for the teams as well. So I think those are the real bottlenecks which people are trying to figure out: what to use, when to use, which tool to pick for observability, evals, for inferencing, and that's what they are figuring out. Most of that, I think, have been like, people now have a sense what to do, and this year they'll actually kind of do it and bring it to the mainstream production.
And what are some of the biggest opportunities that you see will arise?
So I think one of the opportunities definitely is in the observability space. Like people are building these AI models and they are inferencing. So pricing them right would be something very interesting. So measuring the token input, measuring how your model is performing. So observability for the AI is a very big thing where the opportunities are there, and a lot of companies are actually working towards that. Second thing is how to get the remediation out of the Kubernetes cluster, like baking AI within Kubernetes itself. I think we'll see some of that in 2026 as well. A lot of opportunity is there, like how we can natively Kubernetes can tell us about the bottlenecks about and understand the ecosystem where it is running and give us the alerts, give us all the things which are there, and also opportunity in maximizing the resource utilization is something people will still keep working on, and we'll see new and new things.
You work closely with the community and of course as your role and beyond your role as well. What actionable advice you have for developers or even enterprise leaders, what they should start doing now to be ready for this new world?
I think everyone should start treating infrastructure as their product. Like this is something, running, not only running Kubernetes as ops, but have that particular platform, have Kubernetes as part of your internal company roadmap, as part of the company goal. That becomes very critical. And also having CI/CD as a practice that you have to do, like make it non-negotiable. Like you should not make it like we'll do it later on. Same goes for the inferencing, like having that from beginning, the thought process, like how you will version it, how you'll roll back, how you'll monitor it, making it more and more modular, so that if tomorrow new model, new tool comes out, what are the changes that you need to do? Because you don't want to, because the tech is moving really really fast, even for the tech people, practitioners, analysts, the tech is moving really fast. Like you talk to a lot of people, and when you talk with them tomorrow, the statements change because the tech has changed. So we don't want to build a platform that has to be rewritten when there is something new out there. We want to start doing stuff that becomes very easy, modular, replaceable when something else comes in, and we can plug and play with that as well. So I think also start thinking from AI demos and the AI hype to AI in production, AI at scale, AI in the enterprise level.
What is going to be your as well as vCluster's focus and priority this year to help customers navigate this future?
So I can tell a lot from the community angle that we are already doing. So we are launching Wind. I think your audience will hear it first about Wind. So it is vCluster in Docker. That is something that we are coming up with. I am personally calling it as a better kind. So we are actually going down the fundamental layer. So Wind combines the power of virtual Kubernetes cluster with the simplicity of Docker that can create isolated Kubernetes environment that are perfect for development, testing, and CI/CD pipelines. So we want the developers also to be enabled and use. So it's better than kind in a way that you can sleep and wake up your virtual cluster. You can easily add nodes. You'll have a beautiful built-in UI which is based on the vCluster free tier, which also we are launching with the same at the same time. So traditionally we had vCluster open source, which is also there. Then we have vCluster enterprise, which has the enterprise features. Now we are bringing in a free tier that is free forever for a limit of CPUs and GPU capacity. And you'll get all the features that we released last year, like private nodes, auto nodes, standalone virtual cluster. And so you get that particular beautiful UI in Wind. And then a load balancer works out of the box with Wind, and it's very difficult to make it work with kind of annoying. And then pull through cache. You can also have hybrid nodes. So you're not only you can use your local machine, you can have that locally, your Kubernetes cluster, but you can also attach an EC2 instance node via the vCluster VPN that we launched last year. So a lot of things Wind gives you out of the box. We want to go to the developer layer, and because we care about the community, I care about the community, and I always listen, and I always want to do more for them. obviously the enterprise stuff, is there for making money. But I think the community side of things, we are doing a lot in the first quarter itself. And like I mentioned in the beginning of the video, like we want AI factories to be fundamentally changed the way they are thinking by vCluster. So using vCluster right from the fundamental layer to the enterprise level, using all of the stuff like private nodes, auto nodes, and standalone, and our VPN, and making it a complete stack that you can easily plug and play and create your whole production environment ready for your AI factory.
Saiyam, thank you so much for joining me and share these predictions with you. I didn't want to put you under any pressure, but we'll have you back on the show at the end of this year, beginning of next year, to check how many of your predictions turn out to be true and get next set of predictions. No pressure. Thank you for sharing your insights, and I look forward to chat with you again. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Swapnil, for having me. And it's always pleasure to chat with you and, meeting with you at some of the conferences that are coming up next.